Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Monday night, 8 p.m. The Online Darts Live Lounge returns for episode 137. Not out. Myself, Phill Bars, Jack Garwood, and Lee Boyce here for the next couple of hours to talk you through everything. Gentlemen, how are we?
Yeah, all good. All good. You?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all.
I feel like today's show, where normally on a Monday we see Mr. Darwood complain an awful lot, I've got a feeling tonight, looking at someone's Twitter account, we might see Mr. Bars moan quite a lot.
Can I just clarify? I will be moaning.
Oh, no.
That's generally... I think he might be in a good mood this week. I'm like, no, this tournament is getting it.
Yeah, that's generally part of the show anyway, Dob. This was just saying that there might be something a little bit different that Phill might join in the party.
The Grand Slam is better than the Grand Prix is about to go in on the Grand Slam. I didn't remember that when the Grand Prix was big.
It's still a better tournament. And it wouldn't be a Monday if Gob's internet didn't freeze, making him look like a mug like this.
He doesn't need his internet to freeze to make that to happen, but...
As we said, Gob, you thought you'd be clever. You'd put it out to the masses on your Twitter and it backfired. They agreed with me.
Yeah, well, maybe they should watch this because they won't agree afterwards.
Everyone, I hope everyone's good. Hope everyone had a good Halloween, good bonfire night. Let's go through the chat room. Morgan, Tommy, how are we doing? Wim, Zane, James, Rob, of course, is in. Bob, Owen, Sam, ABM, Florin, Charlie, Connor, Kyle, Kieran, Adam is in. All good. Alex, Frey, Chris is in. I love that. Love that. The tree is up. Mine are all down behind. They will all be up and operational tomorrow. How are we doing now? I hope you are good. Richard, Max, Paddy, good evening. How are we doing? Adam. Richard, the chat room's packed. Izzy's in. Mark, how are we doing? Big Johnny, yeah, you sent me the picture. The tree is up. First of all, before we dive into the show, some good news away from darts. Maybe not completely darts related, but he has dabbled. Adam Smith commented on his Instagram for the first time in a long time. I knew what was going on, but it wasn't my place to say. I've been speaking to him through. He had a very aggressive form of cancer, but he announced today that Adam Smith is cancer-free and completely on the mend, which is fabulous news, boys.
Yeah, I echo that, Mr. Bars. Great news to hear, and obviously he's not been involved due to that in darts or boxing or any of the worth of that light, but it's good to hear that health-wise he's better, and hopefully we'll see him soon.
Yeah, completely. Just nice to see, because he's genuinely a damn nice guy, is the thing. So that's some good news today, right, boys? Where would we like to start? I feel we don't want to peak too soon, so first of all, let's go back to the race for Minehead. And first of all, Peter Wright did not make it, chaps. The newly crowned European champion will not be at the Players' Championship in Minehead, where he's defending winners' money. Yes, okay, he's covered it by winning the European Championships, but he's not going to add to it. That's for sure.
I'm not sure he's the place to start. I think Nathan Aspinall is the place to start because he didn't even attempt to. He decided to pull out with it. To spend some time with family. Look, Peter Wright, if you'd asked us 6 months ago if Peter Wright was going to be there, or 3 months ago, or even 2 months ago if Peter Wright was going to be there, the answer was a straight up no. It is only a recent surge of form and that European Championship win that has us going, well, actually, he might just make it. He wasn't in a great position. He hasn't been in a great position for a long, long time. And him not being there after the year he's had up until this point, apart from the European Championships, putting them aside, it's absolutely no surprise that Peter Wright is not there. Nathan Aspinall, however, has won a major, has been deep in the Premier League, and has been in reasonably good form for the entire season. His absence is far greater than Peter Wright's, in my opinion.
The fact, I'm not sure it is, because the fact that Connors withdrew, yes, I know he's still played in a lot of tournaments, if not as many as the rest, but the fact that Peter Wright attempted to qualify at the end, when Nathan Aspinall, we knew full well that he wasn't planning to do that due to his partner's 30th
birthday, yeah.
Yeah. I think it is a bigger story that Peter Wright's not there because of the more recent win and two final attempts being two very poor attempts, really, let's be honest.
Yeah, and the fact that Aspinall, again, pulled out of an awful lot early on in the season when there was nothing going on in terms of birthdays or anything like that. That was his decision not to play in these Pro Tours. I get the Premier League was on, but Gezi, Johnny, Michael, Dobie all still did. So he can only really blame himself for that. I get managing your calendar, but there's managing it in a right way.
Yeah, but again, that's why I think that's part of the bigger shock, in that Peter Wright has played all season and has played poorly for the most of the season. We didn't expect him to be there. There's a number of shows where I've sat on a Monday night going, I genuinely don't think Peter Wright will make it. He's not playing well enough. He's not going deep enough in Pro Tours. There's no hint or sign of upturn in form, a consistent set of darts or anything like that suggested Peter Wright would make the Players' Championship finals despite playing them all.
But
a good couple of Pro Tours before the Euros and suddenly winning the Euros shouldn't have changed that, but it did change that for a lot of people. If there was more events to come, if there was another 6 Pro Tours, then I think we would be saying that Peter Wright was there, but he left himself too much to do with too little time from when his form turned around. Nathan Aspinall being so selective with his schedule and then missing out and decided not to play the last one just because he's done that. He doesn't get a free pass for that, by the way, because like you said, everybody else that played in the Premier League managed to turn up to Pro Tours enough to get themselves into this tournament.
I don't think it's a free pass. I'm not giving him. We went in on us last week. Not went in on him, but we had that discussion around us last week about that decision. I think this week it was just around the Peter Wright. There's not playing well, and then there's not being within the top 64. There's a difference. Peter Wright is still within that top 64, you would assume, even when he hasn't been playing to the best of his abilities. He's missed some. He's missed quite a few due to Premier League, and he's got to look back at early on in the year when he made that decision. But that's confidence in your own ability that you can miss however many it was during the Premier League season and still qualify. So it's got to be a huge disappointment for Peter.
Yeah, absolutely. How are we doing, Anthony? Good to have you in from the other side of the pond. We're going to talk about Stowe Bunce's draw, but we're also going to go in on the Grand Slam as well. How are we doing, Matador? Hope you are good. But yeah, look, I think that Aspinall got burnt for mismanaging his calendar early on in the year. And I get the reasons why he has now taken it off, but a player of Nathan's ability, that shouldn't have been even an option, that he should have qualified for it way in advance. A player of Nathan's caliber. The same as Peter, to be fair, even when he wasn't playing well, again, misjudged his calendar during the Premier League as well. Both of them did, in my opinion.
Does that decision for him to take it off for Family Matters become so much easier because he knows he's messed up through the rest of the season?
Yeah, 100%.
And again, do we think that's a bit of not an easy way out, but actually, does he make that decision if he's 75 quid away from qualifying and going to a tournament or whatever else?
It's 100% an easy way out. I know you're saying it's not. 100% is an easy way out.
I don't want to sit here and go, well, what you doing, you coward, sort of thing. But at the same time, like, if he's a lot closer and still in contention, there's absolutely no way, in my opinion, that decision is made. And actually, if he goes, well, there's a family thing anyway, so I didn't want to be there. It's a bit like when Man United miss out on their 12 signing transfer of the summer and they go, well, he's crap anyway, I didn't want him.
You can relate back to that if you want. Naive.
But yeah, the last set of Pro Tours, we'll do 29 first, because obviously that was won by Gezi beating Chizzy in the final. And as soon as Gezi won Players Championship 30, we all knew what was coming for Players Championship, the last one. But a decent run for a lot. Radix had another quarter final. Jean Van Veen went well. Yoza had a great run. So a lot to digest in that one. Who was playing well and who wasn't? Ricardo Petrescu backed up, as it did Raymond van Barneveld, Ross Smith, James Wade, and Richie Edhouse. And of course, this is the time where not only are we looking at Players' Championship to get to Minehead, we're also looking at that Worlds bracket as well.
100%.
Yeah, it's the Pro Tour pressure. It's not followed as massively apart from World Match Play race, sort of last 2, 3, 4 events, however many there is each time it comes around. And then when you get to the Players' Championship and the World Championship race, it becomes that little more pressured for all the players. And obviously there's more eyes on it from our perspective to see who those dark green, and that continued across 29 and 30. Dark green's the key word, isn't it, for us when it comes to this?
It's an amazing phrase, isn't it? Yeah. Like.
Chris, I didn't say Jules Van Dongen form come from nowhere. This is the form that we saw in Blitz Q School. I think it's just taken him 18 months to adapt to life as a tour card holder. These are the numbers that we saw him putting in to win his card. So I think he bounces straight back, if I'm being honest. But going into Players' Championship 30, before a dart was even thrown, we had the withdrawals of MVG, Gezi, and Ando. Again, showing how irrelevant the Pro Tour has become for the top players.
Which, again, is an issue in itself.
I've said it numerous times that...
And I may have had a few beers the other week when Peter Wright won the Euros, and I said, that's 2 of the top 8 that aren't going to be at the Players' Championship finals, and the system needs to change. But it does. There has to be a better way to entice these players to play in your staple tour.
Yeah,
if your top players are too big for your tour, then there's an issue. And there's 2 things that are going to happen. Either somebody comes in with more money or a more lucrative deal that takes them elsewhere, or you're going to miss out on them full stop. And you can't afford either of those things to happen.
And this, you have to look at the blocks differently. This is only a block of 2. For 2 days, you can see it a little bit with someone like Desi, who's then gone on and won it. It's slightly different, but for a lot of the others to drop out when maybe not perform so well on day 1, there's no tournament that weekend, so it's not as if they're flying or prepping elsewhere. It just seems a bit of a strange reaction to just 1 day of Pro Tours that they're not staying for the second.
You say, Gob, that they'll get more money elsewhere. Well, they are. That's the issue. I won't tell you the figures, but I heard from a decent source, I'm not saying this is going to be bang on, but I'm not going to tell you the numbers, but they'll be close enough. What Gary and Peter got paid to go and do that exhibition in Germany at the weekend, and all I'll say, it is more than winning a Pro Tour. The numbers I was told.
It doesn't surprise me because they're that valuable an asset in terms of the crowd.
They can earn more money.
You have to find a way to make these mean more. And the problem is, now they have the Euro Tour. They simply don't mean more because these players get protected rankings into the Euro Tour once they're there, which is then worth 25 grand instead of 12. It's a bigger chunk. It keeps them what they need to do. And the chance of them missing out on anything else, invitational or ranked otherwise, apart from the Players' Championship finals, is virtually non-existent at that point.
Oh, it's close. I think we've had one ruled out for offside.
It's a dart show, Philip. Pay attention, please.
Yeah, but that's the issue. But look, Dave Chisnell won. No surprise there. But there was a couple of players that made this race interesting all of a sudden. First of all, Scott Waits. Again, no surprise there. We've seen him win a double world championship before, but he got to a quarter-final and was good to see. But the 2 youngsters that, again, have got bright futures. Cam Crabtree got to the quarter-final and lost out to Jean Van Veen. But I know he lost in the last, I think it was the last 32. Owen Bates missed 5 match starts to beat Damon Hetta. But these 2 have got bright futures.
Yeah, very much so. I know we've spoke about 2 for different reasons on the show. But yeah, bright future in the Dames and a lot to look forward to, even more so next year. But very interested to see the Owen Bates tweet this morning. I'm assuming you've both seen it.
I was just coming to that. Do we think he was told that he had to change his nickname after qualifying for the World Championships? Do you think that call
the way
came
his
in?
manufacturer have worded it, it suggests so.
That's what I mean. That's why
but the manufacturer tweet going, given that this has to change, like,
yeah, that's what I was going off of. The fact that Loxley, of the way they've put it, get the last of the uncensored packaging now.
Yeah,
It's
a great little marketing stunt.
Yeah, it doesn't say it's a great way to sell your last few, because you're not going to have any more after the sellout, you would assume.
Oh, 100%. But look, two boys that have an absolute future in this sport. Obviously, Owen has a tour card, and I think Cam will go through Q School right now, if I'm being honest. The form that he's showing, I know stuff can go wrong, but he'd be one of the front runners to win one of those cards. Then moving into the Friday, which is a nice little segue into where we're going to go, the Grand Slam qualifier, where we had 8 spots available at the Aldersley Leisure Village in Wolverhampton. It was interesting, to say the least. Congratulations to the 8 qualifiers. Danny Noppert, who was seeded 1 for the tournament. Stephen Bunting, Ryan Searle, Nathan Rafferty, Damon Hetter, Steve Lennon, Martijn Kleermaker, and Brendan Dolan were the 8 qualifiers, boys. But there was drama and there was twists and turns along the way.
There was. I mean, if we're being completely honest, you look at those 8 players to come through and you look back through the draw, and I don't think there are too many upsets. There aren't too many shocks. Like, predicting the 8 to come through is incredibly difficult. But actually, if you look at those 8 players, Ross Smith just missing out to Nathan Rafferty, you can make a case for that one. And I think Daryl Gurney falling 5-4 earlier on to Steve Lennon. Other than that, are we really surprised about anybody making it / not making it?
No, I do think it's one of the strongest fields from a seeding perspective that we've probably seen come through. More so a Grand Slam qualifier because of how many there is. There was a lot of names sort of around on Friday morning around players that have qualified who have not had such great years. But actually, from this perspective and the names coming through, there's no one you look at and you think you worry about them going into the Slam and not being able to win a game or not potentially winning. I looked at that and I think, well, there's opportunities there for all of the 8 pre-draw.
I'm surprised that Rafferty qualified, and that's nothing against him, but he's not had the greatest of 2 years.
No, but again, like I said, Ross Smith has missed out in last leg decided there, and Daryl Gurney would have come through that Steve Lennon, James Wilson route of the draw. So actually, they're the 2 you can perhaps make a case for. Rafferty hasn't had the best year, neither as Steve Lennon, to be fair, but he's played brilliantly on the day, especially to get the job done, 106 against James Wilson. I mean, I'm still... 8 is still way too many.
100%.
Way too many for this. And actually, now that the BDO is gone, perhaps part of the appeal is when you do get 8, you do get the odd random person from absolutely nowhere qualifying for a Slam that gives them 3 group games on a TV tournament that perhaps they won't have had and we won't have seen all year. That doesn't seem to have happened either.
Yeah. Also, Steve Lennon's taken a huge stride to potentially keeping his tour card by qualifying for this as well.
Yeah, it gives it. That's probably the issue with 8, and not saying if it wasn't for that, Steve Lennon might not have done on and won his next game and still qualified, but it gives players that 2 opportunities of a qualification to go on and win something, win some big money and keep cards and push on for their season. There's a Grand Slam opportunity, and then there's the World Championship qualification opportunity. So for Steve Lennon, it's a huge boost that he can go in with them, and we've seen it plenty of times at the Slam that the short format of groups can set someone up perfectly, even if you are in a difficult group, which for Steve Lennon has ended up that way.
Right, we've done the niceties. Now let's go on to the Grand Slam. Before we actually talk about the darts, what a freaking shambles of a draw. How can someone that has come through a qualifier end up in the top pot of seeds for a draw?
I mean, he has won 2 Pro Tours this year, but it's still nonsense. If you haven't made it by your initial qualifying criteria and you come through the qualifier, absolute last resort to get there, there is absolutely no way you should be in anything but the bottom pot. The same way that I've been on about this for weeks now. The 16 players that come through as tournament winners, whether that be from a TV event, a Euro Tour or Pro Tour, they should be in ranking order, right? Because that's just how it is. You can't decide to rank your majors because then there'll be uproar with everything else. So that absolutely has to be one thing. Those 16 players that are generated from tournament wins have to be your top 16 players. The next 8 players, your pot 3, have to be your international qualifiers. Your 2 from the women's series, your dev tours, your challenge tours, your whatever else. And then that pot 4 have to be your 8 qualifiers, regardless of rankings. The beauty of a group draw is you can get a group of death. You can chuck a Danny Noppert in there with 2 players ranked inside the top 16 or from your pots 1 and 2 and your Dev Tour qualifier or World Youth Championship who happens to be Luke Littler or something next year. That absolutely has to happen. Once again, it looks like they're going to protect the seedings beyond because there's no talk of the bracket on the website or the article. It just says order of play will be decided for Saturday. The top 2 from each group will progress to a knockout. Now, the fact they've seeded the players into pots 1 A, B, C, D as 1, 8, 3, 4, or 4, 5, and whatever it is, means that they're going to protect them once again. So you're going to end up with the same players from your group in the quarterfinals if you both keep progressing. That's an absolute nonsense. As the top 8 players, you already have enough protection in that you're not playing somebody else from the top 8. Anything else after that should just be a lottery. You can basically go and rip off the FIFA World Cup bracket where they play Group H and plays Group E or whatever else. It's there for you. You don't have to do any work. You literally just have to go and place your names in there and draw your top 8 players into one of those groups. And so be it. If your number 1 and your number 2 end up playing each other in the round of 16.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's double
protection to them draw each other in the quarterfinals again is an absolute joke. You cannot have seeding protection for a group and the bracket in the same tournament. It's one or the other.
It's the Grand Slam seeding makes absolutely no sense. I'm in agreement with you in regards to how it should be split. The fact you've got 8 qualifiers split across the 4 seedings pots, so from not being 1 and it goes all the way down, that we've got a mixture in 2, 3, and 4. There is absolutely no consistency in the Grand Slam. We were unsure on qualification criteria for a lot of it in regards to Pro Tours, Euro Tours. If someone's done and won a majority of the major tournaments, or then you've got the breakdown and then comes into Euros and Pro Tours. It just needs sorting out and being a very, very clear plan of how that works. And then you can look at only having 2, 3, maybe 4 qualifiers, and then introduce others if a possibility happens to, I don't know, Michael van der Windows and clean sweeps and wins the lot. Then you open that sort of criteria back in, drop into Pro Tours, drop into Euro Tours. But right now, there's just, for the Grand Slam, there's no consistency at all. I had no idea how the seedings were going to pan out, Tom, once you've had that qualification. And like it says, there's no way that Noppy should be a seed. Due to his world ranking, Noppy's been a seed in the Grand Slam qualifier, and then he's never a seed in the Grand Slam. It's just not right. He's in a group with someone who's won one of the biggest TV tournaments of the year, and he's not a seed in Andrew Dilding. No logic at all.
There are 4 players, 5 players that have won ranking events this year that haven't qualified. That have all won Pro Tours. Would anybody begrudge these players getting in because they've done that over the ones that have? Ryan Searle, Kim Hybrex, Ryan Joyce, Radek Sagansky, Rids, and Ross Smith, the 6. That would leave 2 spaces for a qualifier.
The Grand Slam used to have a clear identity where now it's just a murky, muddy bog. Look, I still love the tournament, the fact we get the round robin groups and everything like that, but just how you get there, who gets there, is an absolute murky mess.
Cell's in, yeah. Cell come through to qualify. My bad, but like Smith lost out in a shootout. Everybody else that came through, Hetter ended up there anyway. See, they're just not italic the right player. That's why.
Yeah, it just almost to the point where the day they ranked it because Barney moaned was the day they killed the Grand Slam as well.
100%. And I get why. There's qualifiers, there's whatever else, but it should never have been ranked while BDO players were playing in it anyway. To have players up from outside your system playing in a ranking tournament that isn't the World Championships and your be all and end all because they've won stuff elsewhere is a complete nonsense. That should never have happened in the first place. It's just mad. The minute they've done that, they just keep. It's like the rest of the PDC system as well. They just add things on and hope it fixes an error. There's never a rebuild. There's never a restart. There's never. We understand that this has actually got out of hand a bit, so we're just going to give it a complete revamp. They did that with the World Cup, and let's be honest, they still messed that up with the seedings and the draw that followed afterwards by protecting 4 players out of the group stage and then into the bracket as well. You can't have both. It's nonsense.
I just look at it. If you unrank it, then that international qualifier or one of the pots you can have. Obviously, you've already got the Asian champion, the CDC, but you can also then have one from the DPA, one from the DZN as well. You can literally open this up to the affiliate tours, one from the Nordic and Baltics, the Caribbean one. You can open this up and literally have one pot as purely internationals or whatever you want to call it.
And it actually be a showcase of your affiliations rather than wait for the
100%.
World Championships and they get beat first round and they're gone. They don't get a chance to settle at Ali Pali, which is a much bigger, much more demanding stage, far more eyes on you. Give them a chance in the Grand Slam.
Yeah, where you get 3 games, win or lose, you're going to get 3 attempts on that stage.
Especially as a lot of those players that would qualify for the Slam would then be the same players to see at the World Championships. So they wouldn't be completely new to it. They'd settle a lot better. And it would increase the standard of the World Championships, which, let's be honest, if they could put more players into the field, they probably would, but are even more concerned about diluting the standard. If they've got exposure to TV games, they won't crap themselves on their first appearance.
Yeah, and multiple TV games. It's that. It's you guaranteed those 3 games. You guaranteed a nice little wedge of money, even if it doesn't go to plan, but it tees you up then perfectly for the World Championships if you are one who's come through that affiliate way. And the issue, I know we've spoken about it before, but the fact that like Luke Littler's not any this year's Youth Championships, does both finalists are in, should be in this year's. Does the outcome of that final has no impact on the Slam qualification for this year. So for me, that's also a change that needs to happen because
you've got even longer to wait now as well.
You've got 2 players coming in, 2 players coming in with form instead of. I don't envisage it happening with Littler or Van Veen, if I'm being honest, but they are your 1 and 2. But we've seen previous years that drop, and I just feel it's there's so much that can change with it, or should change with it.
But at some point, they're going to have to double up an event because if they're going to make the dev tour over a smaller duration to fit in around school holidays, as it looks like they have done, with it finishing in August, they can't be waiting 14 months for a crack at the Slam. Look what it did to Joe Davis when he had to wait 11. At some point, they've got to double these guys up, and they've got to get it into this season. If they're going to keep the dev tour finishing in August, they have to.
I agree, but I don't see how they do it under the current guys.
Just take 2 spots away from a qualifier.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to do that.
Ease your qualifiers down. Take 2 away this year. Take 4 away next year. Bring in the 2 from the dev and double them up, unless one of those players doubles up, and then we'll send an extra back to the qualifier, and 2 more internationals. And the following year, we'll take 4 away. And we'll just keep working our way down. Or they'll be back to 4 international qualifiers, and you add to the 2 that went to the double up youth tour or dev tour, suddenly become your Caribbean and your Asia, or your Caribbean and your New Zealand. For the first year, you just give Australasia won instead of giving them Australia and New Zealand.
I get that, but and by the way, I'm not disagreeing, but I'm just playing devil's advocate here because the PDPA will get involved because the amount of shit they'll get off their tour card holders. That hang on a minute, it's going back to being a ranked event, and you're giving opportunities to people that aren't on the tour to take money out. That's what we'll. I'm not saying I agree with it.
But they've had 35 tours as a minimum to get there. They've had an entire season, if not more, to get themselves in it.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but what I'm saying is the argument is, I will come from the 128 tour card holders, and the majority of the ones that aren't there, is you are allowing non-tour card holders to take a big proportion of ranking money out of the system. That's what
my argument to them is, don't be mad, be better.
So that's why
it'd be a miracle if the PDPA actually did something to support their players after the rest of the shit they've put up with for the last few years. There's more pressing matters than the Grand Slam.
It depends what you call by
I genuinely would rather watch this at the moment. It makes more sense. And don't even get me started on the fact they've effectively removed the 9-dart shootout from the groups because averages is now a decider.
That was the same last year.
Yeah, I know, but we barely covered that last year, and now I'm even more angry about it because I've seen how brilliant they are at the Super Series. Grow
up. So before we actually get into the draw, I think we'll all agree that the Grand Slam needs work.
But it's still better than the Grand Prix. Piss off, you nonce.
What did your Twitter supporters say?
Yeah, well, show them the last 20 minutes to see if they still agree.
I think you'll find you tried to be clever and it backfired on you.
Well, this is why worlds should not be run on democracies.
Right, let's have a look at the groups. We knocked this up earlier. There they are. Group A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. First of all, boys, I think it's fair to say Group F will be the afternoon session.
Don't they normally split it into top
It'll be
half,
A, B, C, and D, and E, F, G, and H, afternoon and evening.
I would then assume that E, F, G, and H would be the afternoon and would be the evening, sorry, due to Group G.
Yeah.
Due to Group G, the bottom half will play Saturday night, Sunday night, Tuesday night. I would, on assumption, go that way, which means that Group F will open up Saturday night.
Yeah, I'm with Lou.
I think they'll.
Group G is far. You're going to put Group G in the afternoon?
No, I think they'll swap it around and just mess it all up just to fit TV.
But then they don't get the equal amount of rest breaks that they should do.
Yep.
When's that?
That's the precedent they've set.
I've never known them do that with the slam. It's always been A to D and E to H.
Yeah.
In whatever order, but it's always been that way.
It's basically, do Sky want Fallon in the evening when they've got more viewers, or do they want the world champion, the Grand Prix champion, and Gerwyn Price? And that will send a very big message to the rest of the world.
They'd be able to argue it with MVG now.
Can you argue it with Danny Nopper, though?
Group G will be in the evening.
Which means that E,
and A, B, C, and D will be in the afternoon.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, it was switched around and it was muddled up because I remember looking at it thinking, why have they done this?
You could still get away with E, F, G, and H being in the evening. It's only F from a viewing perspective that doesn't really. There's still your Peter Wrights, Aspinall, Gizzy. Obviously, then MVG, Fallon, Bowl. You've got your two women playing on the evenings of Saturday and Sunday. I think it'll just be a top half afternoon, bottom half evening.
That's a massive statement to send out, though. A huge statement in terms of, as Gob said, your world champion, your world number one, isn't in prime spot.
Funny though, isn't it?
Oh, hilarious.
Will they not argue with the rest of the group, though, that that's a product of what it is?
Probably. It'll be interesting to see what happens when that comes out.
I can't see it playing out any other way. I'm not going to lie.
Many of them.
The new opening game in Group Group G, sorry. Can you see Michael Van Der Wijn and Fallon Sherritt being on at 4 o'clock when there's all your football on?
No chance.
On Sky Sports? Or you could have it at 9:30, 10 o'clock, whatever the main slot is on a Saturday. That is not going to be on at 4 o'clock on Saturday. So it has to be on the evening.
Interesting. So anyway, back to the groups. Which group catches your eye the most? Chat room as well. Get involved.
I was split between Group B with Clayton, Dolby, Rott and Vampire, and Group E with Peter Wright, Dave Chisnall, Stephen Bunting and Stowe Bunce. They were the two that sort of stood out. I get why a lot are going towards Group C, but I guess the form of dirt changes that a little bit. So the group I'm probably more excited to watch out of all of them is Group E. Does that to go anyway? Starbun's playing very well. Stephen Bunting is in some very good form. You know, I all think that Dave Chisnall's going to win a TV tournament at some point. And Peter Wright. And Peter Wright, we have no idea what's going to happen. So Group E is the one for me.
Nah, it's B for me.
Just
Don't get me wrong, Chris Dobie is the most informed player in that group right now. However, if he is at 95%, Clayton will match that level. Josh Rock is capable of matching that level, despite the fact he's been garbage all year and his record on TV is played for, lost for this year. And Barry Vampire is right up in that conversation of the best player in the world without a talk card and has been for 9 months.
I'm not sure he is recently. The last 3 months, I don't think Barry Vampire has played anywhere near the level he was at 6-9 months ago. Last time he was at the Super Series, he was garbage, which was recently.
Yeah, that's why Group E stands out to me, because the one I'm unsure, one on form, is the last person to win a title on TV, which is Peter Wright. But we're not sure right now what Peter Wright we're doing there. But the other three in that, Cheesy Bunting and Bunce, I expect a very high level from them three. That means if Peter Wright does turn up, that becomes a very, very intriguing group.
Group C, if Dirk was in form, that would be very, very good. However, just right now, I don't see anything other than Gary and Luke coming through that. The form that Dirk's in, the fact he skipped the last couple of Pro Tours to try and get that shoulder fixed. I like Group D as well. I don't think Rafferty comes out of it, but I think the other three, there's not been an awful lot between them. Gazzy's not been at his brilliant best on TV this year. Ryan Searle has been solid, and we saw what Jian can do at the European Championships. I like that. Yeah, of course we can put the groups up again for you. There we go.
It won't be very watchable, but Group F will be very competitive.
Oh, it'll be competitive. It'll just be an absolute bore fest. Let's be brutally honest. And then we're not saying they're not bad players or anything like that, but it'll be watching a combination of Crystal Palace, Stoke under Pulis, and Burnley under Dyche in a round robin.
And the best thing about that is, despite the fact that the top 3 players are all professionals and have won PDC ranking events, the one of them who actually throws the dart in the most aesthetically pleasing proper action is Haruki Muramatsu.
Yeah.
He has the best action of the lot of them in there.
Oh, 100%.
It's glorious. It's so easy.
Bo and Fallon both handed tough tasks. Fallon in with Rob Cross, Martijn Kleermaker, and MVG, where Bo's in with Nathan Aspinall, Damon Heta, and a very good looking at the moment, Ricardo Pietrezco.
Yeah. I actually think Bo's been given a tougher task once again. I said this at the Worlds last year, and she's probably been handed that again. The 3 players she's in with aren't the sort that are going to take her lightly. They aren't the sort that are going to give her that ride or have that sort of fear, I don't think. And Aspinall would fight with himself in the mirror if it meant he had to get up for something. He's that sort of player. He isn't bothered. He's not going to take anybody lightly. Heta, I just think he's a different Heta to what we've seen in the last couple of years. He will still do some weird walk on, or he will still get himself going. And actually, the minute he's on the hockey, he won't offer up any mercy. And Pietrezco is in the form of his life and won't want to give that up right now. He's hitting maximums for absolute fun. Whereas Fallon, I think Kleermaker is a game that she's got to target, obviously. And if she can get at Rob Cross, depending on the time and place of that game in the session, I don't think she should or would be targeting anything against Van Gerwen, except get a couple of legs on the board and keep your leg difference intact. But actually, Kleermaker have a shot at, and then see how you get on with Rob Cross.
The only thing I would say, and probably, I do think Bo's got the more difficult group. I agree around the Aspinall comment. However, I think it works in Bo's favour that if she's down to beat Aspinall in that group at all, it would be down 1, not down 2 or down 3, just to open that event. And the Fallon one, I think she would target the Michael Dame, just on the basis of she probably, out of all the PDC professionals, she probably plays Michael more than she does anyone else due to the exhibitions and the crossover. That is more natural to Fallon to play Michael than it is to play a cross or a Clearmated. So again, and being the opening game, I think that Fallon and Bo have to get anything out of that group, have got to attack the first game. And I'm not saying for Bo to beat Asp or Fallon to beat Michael, but they've got to be looking at getting, at least 3 legs on the board, I think, to then set them up. Just if they lose 5, it is 5-3, is it best of 9?
Yeah, best of 9s, yeah.
If they was to lose 5-3 each, that still puts them in a decent position going into those final 2 games because, as you said there, the leg difference can come into play. And it will give them a lot of confidence if they can get that and put a bit of fear into Aspen and MVG. So it's very, very difficult groups, but I think they've got to attack that Saturday.
I agree with the comment. I think Fallon will be comfortable playing MVG. The fact that we saw her go up against him in the Nordic Darts Masters, and like you say, the fact they play in so many exhibitions, I think she'll be. Look, I don't think she beats her, but I think she'll feel comfortable playing him. What was the question I said? If you were Fallon or Bo, whose group would you rather? Fallon's for me.
I mean, I'm absolutely not writing off Rob Cross at all here, by the way. Like, he is one of the most formed players of the year. He's won World Series events. And actually, he's heading into the back end of the year in very good form and looking like he might go on to win a title. And it may even be this one. But he is a player who is a little bit streaky at times, a little bit hot and cold more than anybody else at the top. And a little bit of a player who we see as B-game winning games more often than pretty much anybody else. At that point, if he does turn out of a B-game and it's a bit of a battle, Fallon's got a chance.
And I'm looking at player 3 in those 2 groups because I think you can argue MVG and Aspinall both on TV have both had the moments this year. Heta and Trosh, you can say very similar. Trosh Super Series, Heta's won it. So for me, it's that. Pietrezco and Clearmate, and Pietrezco's totally coming in a better form, that's probably just edges why Group H is a little bit more difficult than what I would say Group G. But it's not an easy tie, and it could have worked out a lot better for both of them.
Yeah, I agree. And disaster. Mickey van der Vin's just absolutely twanged a hamstring.
Like it.
It looks like Emerson Royale's coming on.
He avoided 2 red cards and 2 goals ruled out for offside, but yeah.
Dart show, gentlemen. Dart show. Yeah. Even if I am celebrating for once after a weekend.
They do bull off for the darts in each game. That don't change.
I'm sure it will soon. They'll let the seeds the first.
I've changed my mind. Group E is absolute carnage.
Don't agree with me now.
TV Peter Wright is different to can't get through a Pro Tour Peter Wright. Dave Chisnell is solid in a short format. Bunting is my outside tip to win pretty much anything at the moment. His form looks magnificent since he's gone up in weight in darts. And Stowe Bunce is incredibly unique. The fact they've managed to pair Wright and Bunce in this completely
random draw
is quite amusing.
And James Madison's going off injured as well.
It's falling apart. Yes!
Literally, Van der Ven has been carried off. That hamstring has gone ping like a guitar string.
This is the day that you will always remember.
Before we get into some predictions and whatever, again, another draw that's not live, the same as the WDF one. In this day and age, it doesn't matter who you are, what organisation you are, whether it's darts, tiddlywinks, snooker, croquet. This not doing a live draw is complete bollocks.
Yeah. I remember tuning in, I'm then at the back about 6-7 years ago, tuning into the radio and listening to the draw being made for the Grand Slam. They've done variations of the draw for this that has been live, to then remove that and now have a pre-recorded. I just don't get it. You can put it live on your YouTube channel. You could put it live on social media. It doesn't. Obviously, we understand the World Championships and it goes on Sky Sports and all that sort of stuff that comes with it. We're not expecting a big show with every draw, but we want to be able to see it live.
No, but how many Sky tournaments are there a year that have a draw? 5?
The Worlds is the only one that is truly live.
Match play, Grand Prix, Grand Slam,
World Cup,
Worlds. Premier League doesn't have a draw. 5.
Yeah.
They've got a fucking news channel. Sky are a broadcast partner. Use them. Like, there's no excuse for it, because even if your excuse is, well, actually, we can't put the graphics on screen, it gets a bit confusing in a live broadcast. We don't have the technology in our broadcasting. Use Sky. They clearly do.
Carl says, what difference does it make? Just it eliminates doubt. Because if you don't see it live, look, and by the way, we're not saying anyone does this, but the interpretation is always there. Was that the original draw? Was that really? I'm not going to say how I found out, but go back, was it 2 years or 3 years when we were actually streaming at the time, and I had a message saying Callum Ridge is playing Glen Durran at the match play, and then an hour later the draw came out, and that was it. So the players knew, and things like that.
Like you said, the main thing is just eliminating the doubt.
It's transparency. Yeah. And again, I remember when we were trying to find out, we were trying to do some dirt on dirt. We were trying to find out that we're obviously talking about it, who had who at the Lakeside draw. And the message I got back was the laughy face. Who does live draws these days anyway?
The seniors, because I insist on it.
Yeah, because I end up doing them.
Absolutely, 100%. It's absolutely no. I don't know what the word is. It's not a coincidence the fact that me and you are involved in the World Seniors and they do their draws live.
Yeah.
because we absolutely insist on it.
100%. It just eliminates any possibility of foul play or anything like that. I'm not suggesting anyone does, by the way, but it just eliminates that element of doubt.
From my point of view, it would be so much easier if they weren't.
Yeah.
But
you do the draw, you send all the information to your graphic designer, and you have everything ready to go all in one go. And you can schedule your posts and get them out as of trying to turn that around whilst outlets that aren't yourself are reporting on your own draw is ridiculous.
But
and there's times when actually other people beat us to put our own draw out because of manpower and graphics and whatever else. They're watching it live, they're set to go. And actually, at times you think, oh, this doesn't it could do, but like being live and the integrity around that draw being live, for me, is far more important than rushing to get the data online in that regard.
But if you spin that round, yes, they've released the draw, which for me it's pointless. You might as well just send the draft out anyway if you didn't not do it live. But why not? Surely the viewing figures, if they was to release this morning 5 o'clock on our PDC YouTube channel or whatever platform they want to use, the amount of feeders that they will have tuning in to watch that draw, instead of today, we are all waiting for a release at any point. That draw could have happened at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Surely from a viewing figures perspective, that's a positive, whether it be the seniors, WDF, whoever that may be. I know the WDF sort of done part of that by saying when it was going to be released, but even then didn't do it live. So,
well, literally, when the draw came out today, all I did was skip to the end, press stop, so the graphic was on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, the same with the WDF one there and the PDC one, it's not live when the names come up straight away and the graphics there at the end. It's been put together because I make them and they're
or when the WDF one says premiering on YouTube and not.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah. As soon as I
premiere a live stream, it's live.
Yeah, but that's our rant on draws over with for a time anyway. Right, I would like your predictions and chat room as well. Who comes out of each group?
You'll have to put it back up on the screen.
Where's my notepad?
That notepad must be worth a fortune of really bad predictions, Mr. Bars.
I know, because I just ripped the page out when I'm wrong.
There's no pages left. Especially not of mine.
Yeah, it's just like gone. Yeah, of course, you can have the groups up one more time. It's not a problem.
The new prime is banging before we move on.
Well,
Let's
move on.
Shut up, you. You're wearing a cap backwards. Don't give me shit.
Right, everyone. Who comes out of Group A?
Hang on. I'm trying to get my notes up on my laptop, and the last thing I wrote was my top 5 boy bands.
You can bring them to question time, Dob. Michael Smith and Christoph Ratosti.
What are you saying, Gob?
James Wade and Christoph Ratosti.
I am going for Michael Smith and James Wade.
Good start. None of us agree.
That's good. That's good. That means we haven't cursed anyone. Group B.
It just means Nathan Dervin's definitely winning that group.
Yeah. Group B.
Dobie, definitely. I've got Vampire written down.
So
Are you drunk?
I've got the top. I've got
Josh
the top
Rocker's 0 from 4 on TV this year, and Johnny Clayton has been chopping and changing darts, has no confidence, in his last 6 performances has averaged 95 once. I've got Vampire.
I've got the 2 in Clayton and Derby, top 2, but the other way around. Derby winning the group. Clayton second.
I am going Clayton and Rock. Group C. Humphreys, Van Dyvenbode, Anderson, Lennon.
Humphreys 1, Gando 2.
Yeah, I'll second that. However, I don't know why. I just got this feeling that it won't be plain sailing in the group for Ando, but he will get through.
I've got the
I
same.
feel like Steve Lennon is one of those players that he's got a dreadful record against, and I can't think why.
I've got the same 2. I've just got them another way around. I'm going Gary to win the group, Luke to come runner up.
No, friend.
Group D.
Price 1, Gian 2.
Searle 1, Price 2.
The Annesley. He doesn't lose.
So then?
It's Annesley. He doesn't lose.
Who are you going for, Boise?
Searle 1, Price 2. He lost in the group stage last year, didn't he?
Don't let
Schindler.
facts get in the way of my hat.
So then?
Barney
Don't let
beat him.
facts get in the way of my hat. It's the Annesley. He doesn't lose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Barney beat him, didn't he? Lost 2.
I'm going Price 1, Gian 2. Group E. Okay, good luck with this one.
Bunting 1, Chisnell 2.
Bunting 1, Chisnell 2.
I'm going to fuck this all up, aren't I?
To be honest, anything's a possibility in this group. But I just think put on with Dobb. Bunting's playing too well, not to come through it.
Peter 1, Chizzy 2. The group of boredom.
Noppert 1, Darts loses 2. But if you insist, I'll put Gilding in there.
Boise.
Dolan, Noppy.
I'm going Noppy and Gilding. Group G.
Lango in 1, Cross 2.
Van Der in 1, Cross 2.
Now, I'd love to shock everyone and say, but I'm not going to. Fallon, what? No, I'm joking. MVG 1, Cross 2. Group H.
Heta 1, Petretsko 2.
Nathan Aspinall is having a really, really long rest up until the World Championships, right? Not take the group stages, Dob, then not playing the players.
I think the issue is he's had a big rest before this. Damon Heta and Ricardo Petretsko between them are 2 of the most informed players in the world. Heta was in the semi-finals of both Pro Tours just recently. Petretsko's won a Euro Tour, backed up with a decent run in the Pro Tour. I don't think Aspinall was playing enough darts. The only way to get out of this rut is to play more darts. He played darts in the set of Pro Tours before that and lost early in both of them and then cleared off.
I think because he comes through, he worked in Bell's favour having him first, but I still think Ash comes through. The fact that he'd only have Damon and Petresti and only needing to win one more of those, I think he still gets through. But I've done Heta 1, Aspinall 2.
I am going Aspinall 1, Pietretscu 2. So we've dissected the groups. I would like who you think will be your winner and runner-up of the 2023 Grand Slam of Darts.
So just to confirm, as we believe it, we need a player from Group A to D and a player from Group E to H.
As we currently stand, that they may change this, but this is based off of last year's assessment of how it broke down. Correct.
Okay.
Like I say, we may look stupid in a couple of days, but this
Because
is
anything else is too complex for them. A bit like my county having Super League fixtures of us at home for the entire half of the season and then swapping them over because we have two teams at the venue and they can't comprehend that.
Yeah. So, a winner and a runner-up.
Derwin Price. See, I've done Derwin Price MVG final, but I've had Price beating Dolby in one semi and MVG beating Bunting in the other. MVG beats Price. Sounds quite obvious, but I don't think it has plain sailing the rest of the tournament.
What are you going for, Gob?
No comment.
You've done something stupid, didn't you?
Yes.
He's done bottom half Stephen Bunting in the final and top half. Can't remember who we had in the groups. Chris Dolby, James Wade.
Oh, stop.
For the second major in a row, James Wade losing the final to Stephen Bunting.
I've got tickets. I think the front row tickets to the final a week on Sunday. Made a massive F up on the tickets, by the way. I meant to buy semi-final and brought final. However, if it's Stephen Bunting versus James Wade in that final dob, you can have my place. Free of charge. And I will stand out the venue.
You all heard that, by the way. When we do Fallout Bar on Friday night, he's going to be very nervous when they're both still in the tournament.
James Wade's not there in the group. Don't worry about the final.
Okay.
I am going for...
Michael Van Gerwen.
Correct, he will be in the final.
Gary Anderson in the final, because I love Gary and he looks brilliant, but he ain't got it to beat Michael in El Clasico of that.
No, I'm going the fairy tale complete. Gary Anderson wins the tournament he craves.
Oh, but I did something stupid.
I'm going for Gary Anderson winning the missing piece from his jigsaw puzzle and wins the Grand Slam of Darts.
So you've got Phil, you've got Anderson to win it. You've got James Wade to be in the final. Could you be any more predictable?
Some things are just meant to be.
But I'm not giving you my ticket if it's Phil's final, by the way. That sounds an awful lot better than.
I'm just, and if it pays out, and if it plays the way we think it is, Gary will have an advantage because he's coming from semi-final number one, and we all know that semi-final number one has an advantage at the Grand Slam of darts.
Who did you have beating who in the semi? Both of you?
I didn't. I just plucked those two names at fuck it.
Does my semi-final plays out that MVG and obviously Price are in there, and I'm thinking, did you have MVG and Price both losing Sunday afternoon?
Well, I've got much earlier than that. I'm gone. Pish posh.
So that's the crazy Grand Slam of darts for 2023. Look, I know we've slagged everything, but I'm looking forward to the tournament. It should be good. For some, last chance saloon before the World Championships. Saw from social media today, Smith and Aspinall had another 4-hour practice session.
From a video that definitely wasn't taken from the driver's seat of a moving car.
You saw it as well, yeah?
Yeah, silly boy.
But the Aldersey Leisure Village will be the home for the next week. So stay tuned, everyone. It's going to be good. Talk yourself into it. Enjoy it, Gob.
No.
Not having it, is he, Boise?
No, not at all. I'm like already trying to plan other days to be there, especially group stage Monday, Tuesday night.
You've got 4 laps to do, mate. Don't be sneaking off now.
Well, I'll have to do it on my phone on the front.
Right, we'll go into Boise's favourite topic of announcements, the WDF. There was an announcement.
Multiple.
Yeah. The draws are out for Lakeside. Not live.
Shock.
And look, there could still be potential changes to that draw. There is still a East and West European qualifier. And I think potentially there might be at least one change to come, if not 2.
Yeah, I've changed my mind on that as well, because when we spoke about this last time, I thought Sebastian Bielewski is not playing well enough at all, and then the man went and hit a 9-darter and made Champions Night. So, yeah, it looks a lot better than he did when we first had that conversation.
Yeah, I think Bielewski has got a huge chance of coming through the East European qualifier.
Do we know that the players we've spoke about potentially then dropping out of WDF are going to these qualifiers?
Bielewski 100%.
Are the likes of Yella and was it Wesley Plazier we mentioned as well? I can't remember.
Plazier and Bartons as well.
Are they all going or?
I don't know, but I think Yella will.
I think Yella will.
I think Yella will. I think Andy Bartons would be silly too, because I do think he's firmly in contention to win that Lakeside title.
That's not on that draw. That draw's horrible for him at seed 1. That couldn't have done much worse. Depending then on how Sebastian does.
Yeah. Just looking at it, obviously, Bartons can go. Yella, Placier, maybe Tricol. I'll ask Tebow tomorrow. I know it's a bit late for tonight, but I'll ask him if he's going to plan on going. Because he's all done. He's done every challenge tour and everything possible this year. Played in the World Cup.
Allez les Bleus.
So it wouldn't surprise me if Tebow went.
It wouldn't, but then there is also that, does he want to go that one step further than last year? He's one of those players that might get drawn into previous success and wanting to go better.
Yeah, possibly.
That's the argument with somebody like Tebow, is that he was a finalist last year and might want to go and win that title.
Wait a minute. I don't know if it says it in the calendar when it is or not.
Which one?
The dates of the qualifier.
They are a few weeks away, I think. Didn't you share something, Dob, in our group?
Upcoming. Yeah, so they are, right, the West European one is on the 18th of November. The East European one is on the 25th of November.
East to the west.
And then is in it the Tortard qualifier on that Monday, the 27th, and that's the wrap. That's the wrap up.
27th, yeah.
Yeah, 4 spaces. There's 6 left. 18th, 25th, 27th. Are those 4 important days?
Cheers, Patrick. Lamman and Placia will go. Barton's not sure. That answers your question that Placia will go.
Interesting.
Cheers for that, buddy. Yeah, not long to do it. And also, with the one that's on the 25th, that's only just over a week before Lakeside. That doesn't give the WDF long to get the replacement in.
It doesn't, but the reserves are in place, I believe. So the players who are in them positions are, I'm just reading, should any player withdraw after the draw has been made but before the first game, the invitation will be expanded to the next available host ramp player from the main ranting table. So if you are in that position, you're sitting there cheering a few players on in them qualifiers, let's be honest.
100%.
I bet it's a short turnaround and it's not great if any of your seeds drop out, any of your players drop out, but it's not a worry that someone's not going to be ready for it.
No.
Who is next in the rankings? Does it say? Rankings. World Championship race tables. Crikey.
It is
Kevin Luke. Aaron Turner's there, isn't he? Is Peter Machin there?
Aaron Turner's there, yeah.
Oh, this could be anything. Oh, that's 2024. Duh. Where's the 2023 race? Anyone? I'm just going off the main rankings then.
Right. So, anyway, out of your...
Mike Gillett.
He's there already.
John Scott, maybe?
Possibly.
Because Edwin Torbjornsson was one of the last to get a call-up, wasn't he?
yes.
Mike Gillett is ranked 42nd. John Scott, 43rd. Paul Lim, 44th.
Imagine.
Well, there's Shawnee Max there, and he's ranked much lower.
Yeah, it's not on this.
Does anybody understand this fucking system? Because I don't.
Them are based on the 2 years rolling starting January, I believe, their current ranking system.
Euler. Anyone?
Right. So, out of the opening round ties, we'll do the men's first and then we'll do the women's afterwards. Which games excite you?
Oh, I've got to find the draw game now.
No, not a problem. ABM, good to have you in. The same as you, Phil. Have a good night, mate. Thank you as always.
To be honest, it's a good way to open the World Championship. There's no denying that on Saturday afternoon with Sebastian, Electricity and Stopmarsh. That for a first round tie at the WDF, that is a very, very good watchable game. I'm hoping to go and see Reese at some point, so obviously just local lad down to see Reese Holly and Dave Prince. But other than that, I am more looking at how that goes into the second round, because when the seeds come into play, there is potentially some very, very tasty second round ties.
Yeah. I think the couple that instantly jump off, obviously Marsh Białecki, Johnny Tata, Sean McDonald, I'm looking forward to. Like, I think, for me, Shawnee Mack is one of the dark horses for this, because he plays to such a consistent level that he may not go up to the 108s and things like that, but he's at one of those levels where you're going to have to beat him.
Yes.
Reece Colley showed a bit of form at the Super Series against Dave Prinz. That
I also think Prinz is in no form at all.
No.
He basically retired from the seniors. He was having shoulder issues at one point. He'd started playing on the 19s to just get him through and plod along.
Yeah.
I don't expect a lot from Dave Prinz this time out. I know he's back playing, but...
And I know we've obviously from around here, Reese has done an awful. We saw it at the Super Series. Reese has done an awful lot of support though in on that Saturday. Saturday afternoon has worked out perfectly for him.
The other one that I'm looking forward to, and this will upset Jamie Lewis fans, but I'm looking forward to seeing Jarno Bottenberg as well. I was massively impressed with him when he came over for the Super Series.
His A game is frightening.
Yeah.
I worry about it when it's not quite there.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's an awful lot, but his A game was ridiculous to watch.
Yeah, I completely. I'm looking forward to seeing him. And of course, look, you can't write off Leonard Gates. The fact he's coming in round one, we know he gets better the more he plays.
That bottom quarter is, if there's no changes, is very tasty from a seed and now an unseeded perspective. Bottom bird, that would be good to Jamie Lewis back. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago that he was in the PDC World Championship semi-finals. Leonard Gates, unsure on what we'll see, because we've seen so much great stuff from him this year. But not at the Meriton Championships for of it more recently. That quarter does look very, very tasty down the bottom.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of Jamie Lewis either. That he started to get some form back, but we've not really seen him, have we, an awful lot?
Well, his latest results on Master Caller are still from Q School.
Yeah, which suggests he's not been playing an awful lot.
Yeah.
I thought I'd seen stuff on socials with Jamie Lewis. He played quite a bit. I don't know if that was local Tomps or...
Yeah, I was just having a look. No one's even priced it up yet. I want to see who the favourite was. Again, another interesting one, but he has to get it right. And if he's off, then it'll be carnage. Is Danny Lalby?
Yeah, in that quarter then. There's a lot of question marks across. Then Andy Barton, does he play in it? James Hurrell, we've seen play some dud stuff.
He won the Challenge Tour event as well, and he's played some really good stuff.
You looked at Neil Duff, who hasn't had the year he would have wanted, probably more so on the seniors, but then we've seen him have a month off, return and pick up the ADC vaults last weekend. So it's what form he then produces over the next month. We know what the likes of Yella Klassen can do. And then there's also your Turners and Darren Johnsons who are going to be at the seniors, I'm guessing, then this weekend and trying to play their way into some form. So it is very much an open field.
The week just gone, didn't he?
So then, sorry?
They won the weekend, didn't they?
Yes.
If you were picking it now, who are you calling to win the men's event? Silence is golden.
Such an open field. Such an open field.
Actually, ain't got a clue.
I'm going to go.
T-Bar goes one better if he plays in it right now.
I'm going James Hurrell.
Yeah, I think I am too.
I worry about his form on TV.
I think he beats Chris Landman in the final if he stays there.
Chris Landman?
Yeah. If he stays in there, then yeah.
No one's priced it up yet. I don't think even their sponsors have. That's another story.
Yeah. In the women's draw, is it as cutthroat as who meets Bo in the final?
Yes.
Is that a little more open, knowing that Lisa Ashton hasn't long had surgery and we don't know what form she's going to be in going into that? No women's series events to get herself prepared in between now and then.
Is she at the ADC women's? I can't remember if she was in that 8. Part of me feels like she was.
She thinks she is.
Which would be the
Spurs down to 9. And Doggy is just absolutely obliterated Raheem Sterling.
He should have been sent off in the first half. He's lucky.
100%. I'm not arguing.
Which then Eileen stands out as then the strong favourites come through that bottom half, depending on the form of Lisa. Do you see any other way, Phill, Dub?
2 seconds.
Yes, Zane, it is a dark show. Tell Mr. Bars.
No, I'm looking for the odds a minute. I'm just checking a song.
Laura Turner, I'm not convinced of on TV. Zylstra, I don't think's got it in here. Murphy, I expect Almadino Fayado to play Bo in the quarterfinals from that part of the draw. I think she's brilliant, and it's just how she settles up on that stage. But you look at her women's series form, right up there. Next quarter of the draw. Be very nice if Aletta Vaya just does the job and gets it over for everybody, wouldn't it? But I'm backing Rhiannon O'Sullivan to come through that quarter.
Correct.
The next one is probably the most competitive for me. De Graaf, Regnaud, Forsmark, Winstanley, Clements, Ilhaz. I think Ilhaz is a fantastic player. Cannot write her off at all. Lorraine's record is okay there. So is Aileen. I still expect that to be a battle of the seeds. Maybe I'll shade Aileen. Just think that action holds up that little bit more under pressure. And in that very bottom part of it, Ouchie Hutchins. Look, Hutchins is a former finalist there. Ouchie can play. Harper steady. Steenbergen, I don't think she's got the top level to go up with Lisa if Lisa rocks up, even with Lisa's B game. I think Steenbergen's A game is a 75. I think Lisa's B game is comfortable of hitting an 80, 85 if she needs it. I still think her A game is better than that on her day. If Ashton is anything more than 85% fit, I think she comes through that bottom. And then it's Bo, Rianne, Aileen, Lisa, final four.
For me, there's only two people that can stop Bo.
Rianne and Lisa.
Correct.
She might have to play both of them. She very well might have to play both of them.
Might have to. I think they're the only two that could stop her, I think.
I think Eileen could, but Eileen could if she was in her half and had it earlier on. Eileen in the final, less likely. But it's difficult to see anything other than Bo being victorious.
Yeah, look, she's going to. I've had a look at the odds aren't even on the title sponsors page yet. Look, Bo will go in probably 4 to 6 to win the tournament. You thinking shorter?
Knowing what we've seen when we've had the dominance of Phill and we've had the dominance of Michael in certain tournaments, I think that will be more a... If you think she was 4 to 7, I want to say, to win the match playing that field was stronger, I only see this being a 1 to 3, 1 to 4 for Bo to lift the title.
6 months ago, I think it would have been even longer than that. There's absolutely no value. Even whatever she goes off, there is no value in Bo. It's the field. You're back in a field there.
Oh, 100%.
And you're looking at each play.
The fact that she was, give or take 1 to 2 at the match play, someone will know what it was. It was around 4 to 7 or 4 to 9. I can't remember which way it was for her to go on and win it because Fallon was 5s, who was second favourite. I can't see how that Bo's not going to be 1 to 3, 1 to 4 to lift this title.
Yeah, she'll be favourite and rightfully so. But for me, there's only two that can stop her. Paula Jacqueline returns to the Lakeside stage. Just forget a win. Are we going to win a leg?
That was the best bet ever at the Indigo.
I did it at Lakeside the year before as well.
The best bet ever. Half a Twitter on it. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
You evil people.
What? It was decent value. They offered it as a special.
Yeah.
It's a set player. They're offering her to not win a leg.
To be fair, I know one of the odds compilers and corporate guys at the title sponsor. I might see if he'll give us a special. Is that wrong?
Maybe.
Evil people. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that is the WDF draw. We'll preview it more closer to the tournament, but obviously the draw is out. Yeah, all good on that front. Jim McEwen, Saturday night, stole the show. It was all about Daryl Pilgrim, and wily old Jim rocks up and bags himself 20 G's.
It was brilliant. It was absolutely magnificent from start to finish as well. What he like? Don't get me wrong. Moreno just hasn't played well in the final at all. He started way too late. Occasions got to him. But the rest of it, yeah, look, Jim held his nerve every opportunity he got. He had to dig deep in the group to beat Pilgrim, to get out of the group. Yeah, like he had a brilliant campaign as well. I thought he was excellent on the Thursday when I was there.
Yeah.
To come out of that 4 out of 5 on the Thursday like he did, excellent start. He looked really calm and composed up there. When that first start was in, it never looked like he was missing at all.
100%.
When Tops was at the end of those fingertips, he looked brilliant. The week as a whole, I thought was excellent. It wasn't the biggest Champions Week in terms of names,
but it delivered in terms of standard.
Yeah, 100%.
Białecki's 9 as well. Congratulations, Gob. You didn't fuck it up.
Yay! In the 2 days I didn't, but that'll do.
Right, be honest. When he's gone 180, 177, what are you thinking in your head? Are you thinking, don't fuck this up, don't fuck this up?
A little. Do you know what the savior for me was? It was for the match.
Yeah.
You don't have to look at the screen and work out how many legs have been played.
Yeah, so you didn't have to come back and the sixth
leg.
Fourth
leg. Sebastian Białecki, yeah, it was game shot and the match. Like it's such an easy call there when it's for the match.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Look, I thought on Saturday night. Look, obviously we're lucky we work behind the scenes. I thought in terms of production, it was the best Champions night that we've had. A lot of new things went into it, from more live interviews, the MC, and everything like that. So I thought again, it was another massive step forward for the Super Series.
Yeah, I would say I would watch parts of it on Sunday, and watching it back and seeing the production and seeing the extra touches, shall we say, that for me should be needed on finals nights. That's what finals night all about. You build up to after 12 weeks, getting to that finals week, and then having that 20k prize fund. Why not build up with it? Great to have Littler there as well. That seems still supporting, even though he wasn't in it. I just thought generally it was a very, very good finals night, and massive well done to Jim McEwen for winning the title. And I agree, probably from finals nights we've had previously, on paper it shouldn't have delivered as well as the others did, but it definitely did across the week.
Oh, completely.
And I guess if it was on paper as good as what we've seen previously, as much as it is Champions Week, you would have the same old people going to same old names that into the finals week. We have now changed. We actually had a complete variety in comparison to what we've had before, but the quality hasn't dropped one little bit.
We think we had West and Clark, who were both in their third Champions Week out of 5 attempts or 4 attempts or whatever it is that Steve West had, 3 straight for him. You had Jim, who's now won absolutely everything from a week in Southampton. He's won all the groups now. He's one of the players that holds a record for 14 out of 15 wins in Group A. There's an argument that he should have been the one to get 15 as well, from memory. He came pretty late. It was just a really nice balance. We had the fact that there was, I'll be honest, when I left Portsmouth on a Thursday, there was only one possible final for me.
Pilgrim against
Andreas Harrison.
Yeah.
Because his B game, his very first game of the day in Group A, against Matt was dreadful. He averaged 70. From game 2 onwards, he was playing at PDC tour card holder level. And he just seemed to get better and better and more confident and more calm and more composed up there. And I was like, this is only going one way. Pilgrim, I was a little bit anxious to how he was going to handle the pressure of being such a big favourite and being talked about in regards to that finals Champions Week as such a heavy favourite, given what he did the last time he was on that stage. First game, I thought he set up brilliantly. He had 2-ton plus checkouts one of them out of absolutely nowhere. You're like, oh yeah, you look all right. That I think the words Conan White had said to him after that was, well, now you've done that to me, you better do that to absolutely everybody else so that I can still get through. Because he was like, if you don't play like that against everybody else, we're going to have words because I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
The added bonus that Conan had won it once before was in the mix all week. I think he'll be disappointed about his Thursday, given that he turned that around a bit on Friday.
It's disappointed with the results, but he actually played quite well on that Thursday.
Yeah.
Just ran into people was the thing. So results, yeah, disappointed. But performances, I actually thought he didn't deserve to be pointless after the Thursday.
Yeah.
I
think as that Thursday just went on, it sort of capitulated a little bit more for him as well. Like, he knew everybody was playing well against him, and there was sort of nothing he could do about it. The finish that Quantock put in against him in that final game just pretty much summed up his week, didn't it? Like,
yeah. No. Oh, shut up. Go away. Oh, what a save. Sorry. To be fair to Paul, it was half his fault, half the wrong game was on the screen that he glanced at. Or so not completely Paul's fault, but it was funny. But yeah, look, again, kudos to the Super Series for that. You've got the German Super League starting tomorrow. Mark says, who do you fancy? Anyone but Liam Mandel Lawrence, because that would mean he'd go to Ali Pali, and I fancy getting out there before 2 a.m.
There's two very distinct camps there, isn't there? There is the WDF field praying that he gets through this event. There is the PDC event praying that he doesn't.
Whatever happens, we are going to see him on our screens.
Yeah.
I was going to say TV screens, but that would have been on our screens. Either way, whatever happens in it. But yeah,
it will just be long.
Yeah.
As to who's favourite, it's such a long format. It's hard. As an outsider, I thought Christopher Tunders played bloody well when he played in the Super Series last time.
Oh, I'm just getting the field up now.
It will be on. There we go. Super League Match Centre.
Is it on PDC TV?
Yes.
Oh, they haven't even.
They've not even populated the groups there, and if you search it in Google, it brings up an article from August.
Yeah.
Group play. Not there. I give up. It's on Schlichting's Twitter, that's where it is.
To be fair, Schlichting, if he plays the way he did in the Super Series, will be dangerous.
Well, he missed out last year at this event on leg difference, I think.
Yeah.
And then he did exactly the same on finals night, so he's had two very close calls in this format. If anything, he's probably played more of this format than anybody else in the past 12 months.
Yeah.
Ooh. Where's it gone? Group A, Daniel Closer, Lucas Veinig, Kai Gotthard, Marco Obst, Michael Hertz, and Michael Klonhammer. Group B, Pascal Ruprecht, Liam Mandel Lawrence, Marcel Gerdon, David Schlichting, Andre Velga, and Paul Corona. Group C, Dragutin Horvat, Max Hopp, Franz Roche, Christopher Tunders, Dominic Grulich, and Arno Merck. And Group D, Nico Springer, Nico Kurtz, Rene Idam, Stefan Siepelman, Manfred Bilderl, and Marcus Kessler.
All eyes will be on Vainik and Hop because of the names. But I actually quite like Nico Springer.
Played well on the Orator this year, hasn't he?
That's what I mean. That's what I'm judging that off of.
I'm pretty sure it was Grulich that I marked for at the Dev Tour at the World Youths. And he is an incredibly consistent player. He lost out to Gian Van Veen in the last 32 when they get out of the groups.
Yeah.
But his group play was very, very good. Who did he beat? There was a young Dutch lad in there. And Jensen Walker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's the bit of the CDC, Canada versus America? Yeah, that was the cross-border challenge, which was good. I'm sure, looking forward to that coming back again next year. I don't know if Anthony's still in, but we love the cross-border.
Yeah, he averaged 91 beating Jensen Walker and 87 beating Jemai van der Hellik.
Decent.
Yeah. 5-4s in both. And I think he lost 5-2 to the Van Veen. Apologies.
So, yeah, that was that. Right, a week in darts. Have we missed anything?
County at the weekend. That was fun.
Yeah, I didn't see any of...
Knackered.
I know Carlisle Hampshire got battered, but...
So did Derbyshire.
Not a surprise when I saw the... From the players in Hampshire and play, and then the side I saw, it was like...
So my game was pretty interesting. Obviously, Derbyshire got absolutely battered. Jared Cole is back at the Super Series this week. He's changed his darts recently. He's moved away from his variation of the Hemas. He's back to a straight barrel.
Well, I'm trying to talk him into playing for Hampshire now.
I was going to say, he does live Chandler's Ford now, doesn't he? So he's like, I mean, the men's side, he's in there with his brother anyway. His brother played pretty handy.
Yeah.
There was a 32.85 from Joe Croft, who looked brilliant, by the way, in doing so. To the point where he was chucking blockers in on the bottom wire and just firing darts straight past it. He was absolutely awesome. But the one that's like in one of the strangest performances I've ever seen was a player called Jack Pledger for Hertfordshire. And it's more of a, there's absolutely no way he's watching this or whatever else, but I was just like in awe and pretty impressed at the same time. He averaged 28.23, 1-4-0, but he quite possibly had the most severe case of dartitis I've ever witnessed in my life. In his practice darts, it was 2 attempts to let go for the first dart, 1 dart with the second one, last dart was free flowing. And once he got the first dart out of his hand, the other 2 followed pretty quickly. But it was taking him, on average, 11 attempts to release the dart through 4 legs.
Well, Chelsea have just scored.
And he still averaged 85 in doing so.
Very impressive, but equally must be very off-putting for his opponent.
His opponent has averaged 21, who's normally a 25, 26 average man. And sort of it was... There was that element of, I feel very sorry for our player here because there's absolutely nothing he can do. A, he's getting a battering. B, he can't get in any rhythm whatsoever. And C, there's that whole sympathy. What am I supposed to do right now? Like, I can't kick off about how slowly this game is going. But yeah, like just to get up there and be able to do that is awesome, I think.
Oh yeah, without doubt. With that struggle and producing that consistency. We say the player waiting has got no rhythm. The player throwing has also got absolutely no rhythm at all. Each dart is an individual. Well, the first dart is completely, especially after what did you say, 11 attempts?
Matador, is that Paul Williams that used to play BDO with the Ginger Curtains? Paul Williams.
It's his first time playing county in 15 years. Yeah. The only other ridiculous performance over the weekend, Fallon averaged 26, which is what, 73?
Yeah.
26, 37.
Fair enough.
Cammy then goes one up and averaged 36.44. It's 109.2. That's a bit good.
Not too shabby.
At one point, Tyne and Weir find themselves 4-0 down to performances of 4-3. Steve McLeod went to a 24-6-9. He was on second. James Hurrell opened up. He won 4-0, 26 average. Menzies goes on third, 36 average. And then they're like, oh, we might get a break here. Nope. Glenn Young averages 28 and wins 4-2.
John, if you're asking about the German Super League, yes, it is a PDC event. It's on PDC TV, organised by PDC Europe. So yes, it is. ADC Vault finals. We have the champions going to the Super Series. Greg Ritchie, of course. Niall Cullerton's going.
I messaged him earlier saying he might as well fucking move.
Sean McKinney, Shane Hayward, Jack Mail, Stuart Kellett, KO Kellett coming to the Super Series. Leighton Bennett, James Hewitt, Martin Grayson, Adrian Gray, and Michael Burgoyne. Oh, Reece James gone off injured. So that's that. Question time. It is then.
Yes.
Get them in. Let's see if we can annoy Gob.
You can try, but while the question's coming in, I'm desperate for a wee.
We can save them for him. It's fine. We need to find out that top 5 list of boy bands that they had on his computer as well. James has said, on Bow and Fallon's group, the fact it's first to 5 in the group stages, do you think it'll help them due to the fact they used a short format in the women's series? Yes, James, I'm in agreement that it does. We've seen Fallon use it before to a benefit. And I guess, Phil, we've seen Bow perform at the Worlds started okay and then dipped slightly. So the shorter format will help.
Yeah, I agree. I think in that shorter format that it will help both of them. Oh, Eric Dyer's just had a peak to rule out for offside. But yeah, no, in all honesty, yeah, I think that the fact they do play that format a lot at the women's series, Fallon best of 7 at the Super Series as well, I think will benefit them. Prime review, we'll get that. No, that it's for the non-tour card holders, Mark. This might be closer than what we thought. We're actually zooming in on the lines here. He still looks off, but with VAR, we never know.
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
That's not question time. Shut up.
No, he's back. We want a prime review.
In terms of names, has there ever been a better PDPA qualifier than this year? Van der Voort, Mervyn Tin, Mensa Sulovic, Jeffrey Deswan, Alan Suter. Well, Suter's a possibility depending on Players' Championship. Clearmatter, Thurchmar, Ryan Meatle, Stockwhite, Temple, to name just a few. It's a very, very strong field of a naming perspective. Obviously, from a form perspective, you're in that situation because you're not in a great position. But from a name, there is a lot of huge names in that field. For how many slots have we got? 4.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's normally 2, but then you've got Bo's place and Jian's place as well. Going back to the tour card holders. James, Bo has been offered the Super Series multiple times. Declined it twice, just didn't want to play. And then 3 times has pulled out after having said yes and been given dates. So she has been asked.
The Glow Brew is decent. Put it in the fridge. Tastes even better. It's the best one of the lot, I think. I had the orange one in Portsmouth. That was good.
Yeah.
I've not tried the watermelon because watermelon is not for me. Horrible flavour.
We don't know what Owen's going to change his nickname to. It'll be interesting to find out.
Yeah, I don't see how you can just change nicknames. That's not the concept of a nickname.
Yeah, but it's been done before, isn't it? Because
it will happen again. I mean, Dieter Hedman is about to be on a third different nickname. Not sure we can say what the third one's going to be, but she said she's retiring the second one.
yeah, I don't agree with the new one either. By the way,
No, me neither.
Do you guys know if county format has always been the same? The county, in just my opinion, county darts in the UK is completely broken at the moment.
Pretty much. So the women always play best of 5. In the men's A in every division play best of 7, and in the top 2 divisions, the men's B play best of 7 as well.
Obviously, God, you ref county. What do you think? Do you think it's broken in its current format?
Potentially. I think the problem is that it just doesn't attract a crowd anymore in terms of people to come along and watch. In the 80s and 90s, I'd take a couple of mates in there and that'd be our weekend, and we'd go and watch and have a few beers and cheer on your local, but that just doesn't seem to happen anymore. You don't get as many people in there to watch unless they're family, friends, or whatever else. So there's sort of a need to take that many players to ensure that venues are earning money across the bar, that you get your entrance fees and whatever else, because most of them are £3 to get in. So in that regard, I guess so, but I don't know how and whatever you change it. The whole concept of a weekend and a piss-up, there's still a great deal of people that enjoy that.
The problem is, my issue is just, obviously, I still go and watch Hampshire and listening to people talk about it. At the moment, you've got teams traipsing across the country for potentially 5 or 7 legs of darts.
Yeah. Which
now a lot of the better players don't want any part of.
I get the argument against it, but there definitely is an argument to be regionalised for a qualifying system and then a finals.
Yeah.
That works in pretty much every other level of every other county setup of sport in the UK works on a regional basis first. You go and be your regional champions, and then you go to a nationals event. And the reluctance of people to go to the Magic weekend for the top 2 divisions previously, I just don't see it changing. The perfect time to have changed that would have been when the UKBA took over.
I agree.
However, if they'd gone with that, it would have been too, not controversial, but it would have split too many votes to change too much, when actually it just needed somebody to come in and secure it.
And the other one, at the moment, I don't see the point of having A and B. Just have one county side and you play one day.
That could work a lot better.
For me,
but again, you don't really get the camaraderie or, I don't know, the chance to step it up. It's much more daunting for a player to make a county debut and put a decent performance in if there is only one side.
I get that, but from watching a lot of county teams, from what I see, again, this might be wrong elsewhere, but just from what I see, certainly the B players that I know play on the Saturday and fuck off and don't stay on the Sunday anyway.
Some. I can only speak from what I've seen, and whenever teams travel to us, there are an awful lot of people in there for both days. If anything, it's a few of the star players, the A players, that arrive on the Sunday. They don't come for the Saturday. A lot of people that come on the Saturday, the B players are the team guys that stay overnight. They have a good night out, and then they sit and watch on the Sunday and get back on the team coach. It's the A players that don't tend to stick around for me.
That's right. Yeah, what I've seen from down here, and he won't mind me saying, I know he watches Jamie. I don't think he's played this year, but played for Hampshire. Now, we all know Jamie Kelling is an A player, as in terms of standard. For him, it was like, I'm playing Bs only because it's just practice on a stage for me. I don't actually give a fuck about the county.
Yeah.
And he, by the way, he wasn't the only one, but I'm just saying it because I know he won't mind me saying it.
Yeah. Well, Bo played only Bs for a season and a bit because she had work commitments.
Work commitments is a bit different. I can live with if you can't play on a Sunday because you've got work. That's a bit different.
Yeah.
Right, there was a Russ Bray question apparently. Are we starting to see? Just because he wasn't at the European Championships, no, because they've got 4 and they rotate them round, so they don't always all do them anyway. Do I think that we'll see less of Russ potentially? I don't mean this horribly, because Russ has been a fabulous servant to the sport, and yes, his voice is unmistakable. But are there better referees now in terms of fundamentally counting? Yes, there are. We've got 2 of them at the Super Series, and I don't mean gob, no, joking.
It's never going to be me, and I'm content with that.
But look, I think Charlie and Owen are both 2 top young officials that we very rarely get counting errors from, and fundamentally, that's your first job.
Yeah. I don't disagree with any of that.
So yeah, look, I wouldn't say it's the end, but maybe we won't see Russ as much.
Yes, I still think we'll see him. Just like you said, more few and far between due to the variety. If you think back, there wasn't. Did it used to be a rotation of 2?
And they've always had 3. They always have 3 there.
I don't remember if it was 2 or 3.
Because you've got 1 on stage, 1 second officiating, and then the other one.
Well, yeah.
As well. Yeah, Russ loves it in Asia.
I think that's a benefit though as well. Like Ross is still in that not unique but niche part, whereas an official, he is also a personality, and sending him as an ambassador role for the PDC to places like Asia is just as recognisable as sending a top 10 player.
And the fact he loves it helps.
Yeah.
The fact he loves to travel the world.
100%.
Obviously words for both parties massively.
Yeah, massively. So yeah, look, I'm sure we'll still see Russ in and around and doing his bits and bobs. Right, last couple then. Is Russ the Michael Buffer of darts? Possibly, because he is that voice is so unique. But
certainly a lot different to mine, isn't it?
To be fair though, we did, Hinks has to do that as well. So
yeah,
so you don't break our sound system.
Yeah, I don't just take the microphone away because I'm dancing with it. By the way, like it's too loud compared to the rest of my voice.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Right, I think that's just about it, isn't it? Oh, yeah, go on then. One more then, James.
What did he say? And I appreciate your comments about Super Series, by the way. It really is quite nice.
I'm assuming it's down back to the time where we have with all the draws and stuff.
Oh.
They show the World's Draw on Sky Sports. Should they do the Grand Slam draw on there too? Could that be a possibility?
Not even. It doesn't have to be on Sky. It just has to be live.
Yeah.
Yeah, but while you've got a broadcast partner, any Sky-sponsored or broadcast event with a draw should go on their news channel.
It depends whether they want to do it or not. That's the issue. If they
repeat in the same story every 3 hours, do something live. You got a fuck off studio with one of the best videographic screens in the world. It's just constant.
I'm not arguing that, but what I'm saying is they might not want it, and if they don't, then it still should be live somewhere else.
Sell it to DAZN, they'll have it.
And PDC have got their own service that they could put it on. I know people say it's behind a paid wall, but they've still got that service there where they could provide a live draw.
Yeah, 100%. Right, everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. We have interviews with Matthew Edgar and Ian White dropping this week to take us into the Grand Slam this weekend. Super Series returns tomorrow. but make sure you check out all of our socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, here on YouTube. But before you go, we're going to drop you a little teaser. We may have some World Championship tickets to give away, but to do so, you'll have to be subscribed to the YouTube channel. So if you haven't, make sure you head over there, turn notifications on, otherwise you won't know.
Or you'll have to attend our show on the Monday.
Yes, the Live Lounge Live.
Yes.
The 11th of December at the Prince of Wales in Ilkeston. Head over to our Facebook page. The event is there. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button because you could be going to a sold-out Alexandra Palace, folks. But I've been Phill Bars, Jack Garwood and Lee Boyce. It's always a pleasure, never a chore on a Monday night. We have been Online Darts. It has been the Live Lounge, and we'll see you all very, very soon. Bye.